So let me get started on today's topic of how ordinary companies can become unstoppable to win in the digital economy. Obviously, we are going already 1 foot into the digital economy, but there's a lot of transformation and trends and technology that's coming up in the next few years that will upend the industrial economy today and radically become a full digital economy. So it's very exciting, but it's also quite frightening if you're not doing the right things. So that's what I'm going to talk about in the next 90 minutes to help you prepare and take advantage of this digital first economy. So I'm going to cover these 3 things. It's quite ambitious in these 90 minutes. And I'm going to help you understand how you can discover unlimited growth opportunities. The limit is only in our mind, in our strategy, but actually the marketplace out there is unlimited. So if you're able to see many invisible opportunities, then basically you can transform and take advantage of all these growth opportunities as we transform the global economy, especially now accelerated by COVID-19. Number 2 is to help you to disrupt and dominate the industry, sector, or niche. So whatever area you are playing in, this is a perfect time to now, later on I'll share with you the playbook. It's called Play to Win. And that enables you to disrupt and dominate your industry, your sector. And third is that we are in this full-fledged digital economy already, but going to be even more digital, what I call fusion economy. And whether you have an unbeatable winning strategy for this digital first economy. So that this will enable your business to move from a scarcity based type of mindset into abundance based mindset. And that will allow you to become unstoppable. So what do I mean by unstoppable? Unstoppable are companies that are achieving exponential growth. So we are not talking about just linear. We are talking about because you are doing certain things, right? And then that enables your business to boom and achieve not just 5–10% growth a year, but 50, 100, even 200% growth a year. Later on, I will share with you some case studies, and they are of companies using this exact playbook. So this mindset is not just for tech startups, or it's not just for multinationals. This approach is, in fact, I designed this approach especially for small, medium-sized enterprises, all the way until for 1-person company, until you're 10–20,000 people company. Yeah, this playbook will still apply to you. So companies have different levels of their speed of growth. So on the left-hand side is companies that are stuck, which means that their feet is kind of stuck in the mud because the world has changed and their business is not keeping up. So they are, in fact, not just not growing, but actually shrinking. And someday, the business will be disrupted and you'll go bust. Whereas on the other extreme are the unstoppable companies achieving exponential growth. So most companies today are in between. So sluggish and strolling is different kind of growth rates, but cruising, you're growing quite fast. So in my view, in the next 5 years, because of the massive global transformation that is going on, not just in economics, not just in the markets, but also in the entire geopolitics, the climate crisis that's going on. In my view, only the 2 right-hand side type of companies will win in this new world, whereas the other 3 will be affected. So fast forward 5 years from now, then by the time those companies on the left-hand side realize it, then it's too late. So my job here is to give you the 5-year advantage, so that you are today, whatever level you are moving up at least 1 or 2, even 3 levels, and take advantage of the changes rather than risk being the casualty of these massive disruptions that are going on. So this playbook has been used by a few hundred of my companies, my graduate companies. So 3 of them in the last year Financial Times Asia Pacific high growth companies. So 3 of them made it to the list. So they are not just growing at 5, 10, 20, 30%. They are literally growing at the 200 to 400% range in 24 months. So imagine their business is 1 million 2 years ago. Now they are 4 million. So this playbook is very exciting and is riding on the theme of what I'm doing here, that is helping Asia companies to become unstoppable by riding on the unstoppable growth of Asia. As you know, now is Asia century, is with the pandemic is fully here and now. And how can your business, I mean, Indonesia is a huge market, right? But what if you can win in Indonesia, then win regionally? That is even more exciting. And that is the message I have for my companies. I run this program all around Southeast Asia, helping domestic players become domestic champions, and then they become a regional champion in ASEAN and in larger Asia Pacific. So now I have a very important question for all of you. I'll appreciate if you answer this. Okay, and my question is this. Today, do you have one single strategy, one huge strategy that you think can succeed in today's business? Just one big strategy. This strategy is the overall strategy of your company. Do you have one single strategy that can help you succeed in today's business? I'm talking about today's business. I'm not talking about business of yesteryears. I'm not talking about industrial economy business. I'm talking about today, the world, the state of the world today. So can I get some sharing from you guys? Can be a yes or no or not sure. I suppose if you're not sure, then you don't really have one. So can you punch into the chat box whether you have one single strategy or your company have one single strategy, overall huge strategy that already is very clear that you can win in this digital first economy. Okay, I get the first answer, not really. Maybe if you have, that's great. And I'm here to confirm perhaps your strategy and what I'm going to share with you is the same. Do you have one? Please type into the chat box. Okay, so I suppose, all right, okay, great. Shoaib say yes, fantastic. And maybe what I'm going to share with you will be similar to what you have in mind, then I'm giving you good confirmation. Otherwise, I'm presenting something new to you as a possible, what I call a grand strategy. All right. So Peter Thiel, he is one of the most famous Silicon Valley intellectuals. And I mean, there are many resources I'll refer you to look into. And one of the resources is his book called 0 to 1. It's a must read because it kind of defines how to, in a way, survive and thrive in this digital first economy. So he said that successful businesses are based on secrets that you believe in and you know, and your competitor doesn't believe in, doesn't know. That's why eventually your strategy will be different, because what you believe in and what you know are different. If you know what your competitors know, then it's about execution, right? And it's kind of at a level playing field. But if you have some secrets that give you an advantage in your business, then that's where you can build a successful business. So he said that that the difference between successful companies and the rest of the companies, there's only one difference. And the difference is that successful businesses are able to monopolize their market, whereas everyone else are just ordinary companies, and they will not be able to get extraordinary profits and returns because they are playing on the level playing field. Whereas the companies that are able to monopolize their market become the dominant player, and that's why they are different from the rest. So that's a bit of deep dive I'll go into later on. So today, this workshop, this web class, I'm going to share with you a few secrets. Please take it away because this may be a common knowledge in 3, 4, 5 years' time. But because I'm a futurist, I don't teach people what works, just what works today. I teach people what works, what is a common knowledge 5 years from now. And I give you the advantage today, then you use it today, and by the time your competitors, your peers, they understand this, 5 years later, they're out of the game and you're ahead of the game. So now I'm going to do this very interesting kind of scenario. And this scenario, please pay attention to this, because this scenario, later on, I'll translate this to business. So the scenario is this, okay? So I'm going to ask you questions coming up. So imagine this scenario of these 3 types of animals in this pitch dark cave. So this cave is totally pitch dark. You can hear, but you cannot see. And there are 3 kinds of mammals inside. One is a pack of mice. Another one is a snake. Another one has a wings, is an owl. And so you have these 3 groups. So now my question to you is this. This pack of mice, what do you think their mindset, their priority, their instinct, what do you think is the top of the mind for them? What do you think they are preoccupied with, most concerned about? In this cage, they cannot see anything. So what are they? Okay, finding food. But before you, I suppose finding food is one, but there are other mammals inside. And these are predators. Thank you very much. Exactly. So their mindset is about surviving, staying alive. That's it. Avoid being eaten. Exactly. So how do they keep safe? And do they survive in this cave? Okay. So that is where we are now. Now I'm going to share with you 2 secrets. And these 2 secrets later, there's a real life equivalent in business. So the number 1 secret is this. There's actually a red pill inside this cave. So what is so magical about this red pill? Any one of the mouse eat this red pill, it becomes a cat. It turns into a cat. So it's a magical pill. It's a secret. Nobody knows this secret yet. But nonetheless, it's a secret. The number 2 secret, also very important, is this. There's actually a cage enclosing the mice. So the mice is in a way protected from the snake and the owl. So that is the 2 secrets. So let us see and answer these questions. First is, what is the inevitable outcome? So imagine this is a game, right? After you play the game for some time, what will happen in this whole game? So what do you think will happen in this game? After a certain period of time, you play this game 100 times, the ending is the same. Just like in the casino, you play the game 100 times, the house will, overall, the house will win. Who wants to give it a try? So my questions are quite difficult, so it triggers your thinking. Sometimes secrets require deep thinking to uncover the secrets. Secrets is like this, is see what everybody see, thinks what nobody thinks. And if you can see what everyone see, but you have your own insight from there, that is your big secret. Okay, weak one die and the strong one survive. You're quite there already. And the scenario is this. The outcome is this. The mice that finds the red pill first and eats the red pill becomes the cat, and then it eats up all the mice in the pack. That's the survival of the fittest. That is the evolutionary theory. And after you play the game long enough, that's what will happen. So my next question is, which mouse will become the cat? There are so many mouse in the cage, right? Who will first eat the pill and then become the cat? Okay, there's the answer of the fastest. I think before you even become the fastest, a step that we have to take is this. Which mouse will discover these two secrets first? Because if the mouse doesn't discover this secret, you will not be in a, it's just trying to survive, right? So trying to survive, they will be like clustered together and be in a safe spot. But which mouse will be the one that discovered, actually there's a cage, I'm safe, no one is going to eat me up, and then able to sniff that pill and then eat the pill. And in the real world, perhaps a few of the mouse may discover these two secrets, but only one or two or three take action. And the one that takes action and becomes the fastest that acts on these secrets, then basically the mouse will become the cat. So now is the bringing this whole scenario to real life. In business, who do you think is the mouse, snake, and the owl? So if you understand, in this game, the most advantageous is actually owl, because the owl can see in the dark and the owl can fly. The snake can't fly, so the owl can escape the snake and eat the snake. So in reality, who is the mouse, snake, and owl? What kind of companies are these? You can type in what is the kind of company, comma, what kind of company. You can type mouse equals what, snake equals what, owl equals what. Okay, I hope I trigger enough of your thinking. The mouse is micro, small, medium enterprises, the SMEs. The snake is multinational companies, the big companies, the Fortune 500, Fortune 1000, Fortune 5000. The owl is the tech startups, the likes of the Googles, the Facebooks, the Tencents, the Gojek, the Tokopedia. And today the owl is in an advantageous position. So what I want to share with you is how, as a mouse, there's actually a red pill and there's actually a cage. I'm going to share with you these two secrets. I hope you can take this away. Because if you know these two secrets, you can really win in this digital economy. The world doesn't belong just to the snake and the owl. There's a space for SMEs to thrive in this new world. So just now, remember, I shared with you this. I asked you whether you have one big strategy that enables you to win in the new world. So there's a difference between strategy and strategy. today, my job is to inform you of a grand strategy. Just one big way of playing the game to win the game. And if your competitors are playing at the strategy level, you are playing at the grand strategy level, you will beat them. So what is a strategy and what is grand strategy? Before I go in depth, just let me give you this illustration. Strategy is like giving you a bunch of ingredients. The ingredients for you to cook up something, right? So in real life business, wow, you must hire good people. You must do your branding well, have a good product, be innovative, be efficient in your operations, right? We all hear of this before. These are very motherhood statements. How are you going to put together and win in business, right? Because obviously we have priorities. Whereas a grand strategy is actually a recipe. How do you cook up and process and chop up and cook every ingredient and combine them into one single magical, beautiful dish? That is a grand strategy. So today, my job here is to give you a grand strategy. So strategy is like, wow, you do the best you can. Grand strategy is about outplaying other players. So for example, the reality game shows like Survivor. The winners are those who can outplay other players, not just playing within themselves. So you have to anticipate what the other players are doing as well and outmaneuver them. So like what I say, is like a laundry list of ingredients. How do you process these ingredients, right? Whereas a grand strategy is the strategy to put together and prioritize these strategies. So the strategy is piecemeal. Grand strategy is integrated and holistic. Strategy is based on what you can find out there. You can search in Google and you can find the information, public knowledge. Whereas grand strategy is based on some secrets. So I hope to, in this short webinar, elevate your thinking so that you have a grand strategy to win in today's world. I can tell you that the tech companies have a grand strategy. That's why they grew so fast. Now the multinationals are learning their own grand strategies. SMEs today lack grand strategies, and that's what I've created. So I'm going to present to you the grand strategy to win in the digital economy. So let me just take the chance to introduce myself, to let you know why I'm here and what is my credentials to help you win in this new world. So I attended Singularity University. This is one place in the world that that is changing the world in good ways, to use technology to impact billions of people, and how technology will allow us to change from a world of scarcity, for example, scarce energy, scarce food, scarce education, scarce whatever it is, and convert it into abundance. And the trigger is enabling technologies. So the two founders are in the photos up there. Somehow I'm always surprised when I see this photo because I'm taller than them and I'm not tall in the first place. So on the left hand side is 𝗵𝗵𝗿. He is the, recently you may have heard of Elon Musk contributing 100 million to climate capture technologies. So that's a endowment to this X prize. So they award this prize to whoever global teams they come out with the invention to win this prize. So this is called X Prize, and 𝗵𝗵𝗿 is the chairman of X Prize. So it's got many X Prize, some exploring the moon, some processing clean water using very little electricity. And the gentleman, Ray Kurzweil, on the right hand side, he's one of the amazing Thomas Edison of this era. So you can just look up his profile. He's now working in Google to build a human mind, artificial human mind. And why Google? Because only a company like Google has the resources that he can use to do this amazing engineering project. So I attended this in 2013, and I'm the ambassador for the Singapore chapter for the last 4 years. I founded the chapter in Singapore. So one of the things you may have here is the 4.0, Industry 4.0, fourth industrial revolution. I'm a big supporter, big fan of this. In fact, my thinking predate the invention of this term. In 2013, I've been writing, speaking, and advocating this 4.0 era. My article is still there, published in 2013, and I talk about this fourth stage, how we are moving from an information-based economy to an intelligent-based economy. And when we change a word from information to intelligent, something big happens. We totally change the paradigm in the world. So in the past, the original industrial revolution was just using steam to create mechanical energy. And the second part of that, we changed from to using fossil fuels to create electricity. And with that, we electrify the whole world. And that's what the full effect of the original industrial revolution created. Today, the same thing is happening, right? But this time with information to intelligence. So this is coming thick and fast, accelerated by COVID-19. Some of the sessions I do is an outlook for 2021 and beyond. And I talk about how the world has been accelerated by at least 4 years because of the COVID-19 crisis, which means the window for businesses to act is now even more narrow and more compressed. There's no time to, I want to do it or not. Everyone has to go into this fourth industrial revolution. So when the fourth industrial revolution comes out, all industry will go from their 3.0 version to the 4.0 version. Education 4.0, healthcare 4.0, food 4.0, logistics 4.0, right? And I'm helping for many years these multinationals, world leaders in different industries take advantage of this 4.0 revolution. Because when it comes, it's too late to react. We have to start today, earlier the better. And that is where I mentioned the term fusion. So when we go into 4.0, it becomes not just a digital, but a fusion economy. So for example, this session I did for Verizon to Verizon is the second most valuable telco in the world. And I did 2 sessions. One is for the Asia Pacific customers. The other one is their European and Middle East customers on how 5G will accelerate this 4.0 revolution. And we are saying goodbye to the digital world and entering a fusion era, where we mesh virtual reality, blockchain, artificial intelligence, all into this new whole ecosystem that is so totally so different from what it is today. So this is what I did for integrated resorts in Singapore, Marina, Las Vegas, Marina Sands. When I did this was before COVID. So I'm talking about the trends of tourism 4.0, which is so different as we can see from now. I wrote about this article in 2014. And what was my motivation? I've been working with tech startups and multinationals. And I've been very concerned that SMEs are not in the thick of things. They are not even aware of what's happening. And this was a time whereby the company like Gojek or Grab, they are still very small companies. And today, the most valuable company in, I believe in the whole Southeast Asia today is one company called 𝗀, S-E-A. Maybe that's why they call it themselves 𝗀, Southeast Asia. This company is worth $100-ish billion, and it's the fastest, best performing stock last year during the pandemic. So this company is worth more than the banks and telcos in all Southeast Asia. And this revolution is going on, right? So how do our SMEs take advantage instead of being a collateral damage in this fight between the Fortune 500 and the tech companies? So because of that, I've been very compelled to work with entrepreneurs, enterprise leaders around the whole of Southeast Asia to help them to level up and take advantage of this revolution and not just wait to be disrupted. And during the Zoom period, I've worked more and more in a virtual format, so I can reach out to even larger audiences. So you can see they do a 4 here, is that they graduated with a 4.0 mindset. Okay, so there are different examples of companies I work with. This one, for example, 𝗨𝗲 is almost 200-year-old company. It's founded 1828. This is a listed companies. They have 2 listed companies in the main board in Singapore. And they know that if, never mind they're 200 years old, 20 years old, if they don't survive and transform in the next 5 years, they'll be out of business. So this another company here, SLS, is the same thing. It's a family business. In fact, most of them here are family members. They are one of the largest industrial engineering distributor in Southeast Asia, a few hundred million turnover. Again, they have to write on and transform themselves accordingly. Otherwise, they will not survive this digital revolution. I've worked with EO entrepreneurs organization around Southeast Asia, and many of my students come from there. Later, I'll share with you a few case studies of EO members who benefited from my programs. And I'm also leading futurists and spoke in just 2 years ago in Marriott in Dubai, and I talk about this fusion economy and how SMEs can take advantage of this. So this is my writing in 2019, posted on LinkedIn, and I write about the perfect storm in 2020s, how the 4 mega trends will disrupt the entire world and why no organizations will be ready for it and what they can prepare for it. So this was my keynote topic for the whole of 2019, 2019. And as an example of that, I spoke at this Asia Corporate Risk. I keynoted at this corporate risk event. So these are all the insurers and these are the corporate risk directors managing the risk profile and to mitigate the risk of their Asia conglomerates, the likes of Petronas and large Asia companies. How do they manage the risk, right? So there are 3 risks that I highlighted. First is technological disruption risk, how technology in a few years' time could impact their business heavily. Never in our lifetime risk that was never in their professional lifetime. Never seen, never understood, never happened. And then the frequency and severity of these black swans. Black swans are high impact, low probability events. So guess what? Just a few months after that, COVID-19 has caused all these 3 things to happen. So many businesses impacted by COVID, but those that are doing well are disrupting their respective industries. Never in our lifetime risk. COVID-19, UN Secretary General, German Chancellor Merkel has said this is the biggest crisis since the end of World War II. And obviously, there's almost hard to fathom a black swan that is bigger and more extensive, covering the whole world than COVID-19 crisis. So this goes beyond Asia tsunami, it goes beyond the financial crisis. This is a much higher level. And my point is, this is the first of many black swans in this decade. And if we are not able to prepare for it, we may survive this one, we may not survive future ones. So that's where I came out with this playbook, because I don't believe just in knowing, previewing the future. I believe in preparing for the future, taking action. What companies can do today to take advantage of what's coming up. So you go from a passive to a proactive mode. So this World Economic Forum founder, Klaus Schwab, he rubbed shoulders with Chinese president, US president, and all the top leaders, political leaders in the world. They invented the term, he invented the term fourth industrial revolution. You can read the book that he wrote. And he said that in the new world, it's not the big fish which eats the small fish. Size is no longer, in fact, if you are big, it becomes very challenging because you are the elephant that is waiting to be hunted. So small actually is advantageous today. It's just that how do we play a game that is maximize the benefits of being small. So he said that it's a fast fish which eats the slow fish. Speed is a essence. So let me illustrate what this means here in terms of strategy. In fact, I came out with this whole blueprint before I came across this code, but this kind of confirm exactly what I have been talking about. So why do SMEs lack a winning playbook? Okay, so this is a important diagram. I will keep referring to this diagram, so you can pay attention to this because this is one of the secrets of the mouse in a cage. So I'm going to share with you a couple of secrets here. So in the old age, in the industrial old world, we have companies that achieve scale, become very, very big, very, very slowly. So on this vertical axis is the scale. How big are they? On the right-hand side is the speed. How fast do they change? How fast do they adapt? How fast do they innovate and transform? So in the past, this industrial age, we have companies that become Fortune 500, Fortune 1000, that took a long, long time, 50, 100 years to become very, very big. So this is, the General Electric, the oil and gas companies. These are the large industrial, very, very slowly. But 30 years ago, we see a new breed of companies, and they grew very, very fast, very, very quickly. They have speed first, and they started just like Jeff Bezos, a one-person company. And with the speed, suddenly they become the biggest in the world. So today, as I work with the multinationals, what they are trying to do is all the same. They are trying to use their scale to acquire speed. So remember just now the analogy of the owl and the snake. So who do you think is the snake? The snake are the multinationals. And the owl, which have wings and can see in the dark, they have the advantage. These are the tech startups, the biggest companies in the world today. So we see this clash of titans, the Amazon versus the Walmart, the Netflix, Disney just launched in Southeast Asia these few days, Disney Plus, Tesla versus Toyota. It's not even a fair fight anymore because Toyota is many times bigger than Toyota. Tesla is many times bigger than Toyota. Airbnb versus the likes of Marriott, Starwoods, and other hotel chains. So this is the epic fight that we are seeing here. But these are the global companies. How does it affect us? We have to see where do we play. So SMEs today cannot use the slow to scale because the slow to scale is too slow. And this playbook is out of the picture already. If you use this, you are playing yesterday's game. You cannot use the speed to scale because we are legacy organization. We have a lot of people from a bit of the old school. So unless you assemble a new team of these very Kong-ho innovators, right? Then otherwise, we cannot use this playbook. You cannot reinvent and replace everyone in your company and start from scratch, right? And we cannot use the scale to speed because SMEs lack the scale. You're not billions, 10 billions, 100 billion kind of company. You don't have that kind of resources. So that's where we are today. SMEs lack a playbook. In the MNC space, there's all these theories and concepts and frameworks by very famous people. Startup space, similarly, you have the playbooks for startups, all these famous people. But in SMEs, it's an entire white space. No one is helping the SME in this space. And this is my aspiration to help SMEs to cover this gap. So Alvin Toffler, he passed away several years ago. He is the father of all futurists. So he said that if you don't have a strategy, you are part of someone else's strategy. So if you don't have a grand strategy that can help you win in today's time, you are a sitting duck for disruption, a collateral damage in this innovation wars. So we have to get back our so-called our fate in our own hands, rather than to defer what's inevitable. So this is what we call playing not to lose. If you don't have a strategy, you're playing not to lose. This is akin to the pack of mouse who is just trying to stay alive. Okay, you can make money as long as possible until suddenly you cannot, because the world, the carpet has been pulled off your feet, right? We do not know when that will happen, but I can tell you it's earlier rather than later. So playing not to lose, this is just now what we call the survival mode. The mice are all in the survival mode until you are able to discover the secret and then go on a thriving mode. So as we enter the digital economy, we go from industrial to digital, and as every industry goes through digital transformation, this we have to learn the law of the digital economy, because every industry will then be subjected to this digital economics. So as you know, the initial industries that have been disrupted are the retail, the media, the content, the advertising, right? These are content industries. In the years coming up, we are talking about all the industries, the industrial, the B2B type of companies, products, physical goods, all going to be disrupted. Services, professional, private services, all going to be disrupted. So if we don't understand the new rules of the game, then we will be a casualty of these rules, because someone else will take and use these new rules and put you out of business. So this is what I'm going to talk about. So the new rules of business, there are many laws of the digital economy. Today, I can only share with you the most important one you have to take away. And you can see here plastered all over is this term called winner takes all. So I'm going to deep dive into what winner takes all means. Today, your business, you have to think about winner takes all, because it affects everything that we do. So Marc Andreessen is another famous, successful Silicon Valley entrepreneur. For those who are around long enough, you know, he founded the Netscape Navigator. Now he's got his own VC. He's on the board of Facebook. And he said that in normal markets, you have a few players. But in technology markets, in the long run, you only have one winner. So the big companies in technology tend to have 90% market share. So this is called winner takes all markets. So number one player is going to have 90% of the profits. Number two is going to get like 10%. Then the rest are going to literally get very little or even losing money. So industry by industry, we see this happening. As your industry becomes a technology industry. 5 years from now, all industries will be technology industries that happen to be in a particular vertical. So just like the Walmart CEO of Walmart talk, he said that Walmart is a technology company that just happened to be in retail. So similarly, you have to think in those aspects. So this is how it looks like visually. So in the industrial economy, you have this distribution. Profits, yes, the big companies will get larger profits, obviously, and then you have a lot of profit shared among the many small players. So this is like a very normal distribution. So in today's industrial economy, these companies many still survive because the profits are kind of spread all over. But when you go into digital economy, this new distribution comes into play. It means that maybe 1%, a few percent of the companies will get 90% of the profits. Very skewed to on the left-hand side. And then the rest of the companies, never mind thousands, 10, 100,000, they all get nothing. And sometimes the blue line is even below the gray line, which means that these companies are literally losing money. So just imagine those days of Blockbuster. Blockbuster was the largest video distribution rental company in the world. They have thousands of outlets, and every Blockbuster, there are many mom and pop shops, many of them surviving for many years, right? Decades even. But when they shift from this red line to this blue line, and guess who is the winner? The winner is Netflix, and everyone else lose money, and they fall. They fall like flies. So in the space of, I believe it's about 9 years that Netflix was born. 9 years later, Blockbuster go bust because Blockbuster wasn't able to foresee the change in this curve and take advantage of this change. Blockbuster was offered to buy Netflix for something like 2 million, and he didn't buy, and the rest is history. So we are literally talking about tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of rental shops all closing down globally because of Netflix. So Peter Thiel said that we no longer live in the normal world. We live under this power law, this winner takes all rule of the digital economy. So this is a few months old, the listed companies in US. Today, the gang of 6 is equal to the rest of the thousands of listed companies in the US. This is the winner takes all for the entire economy. I wrote an article 3 years ago, and I said that by end of this decade, these tech companies, I call them tech conglomerates because they use tech to go into all different verticals. Each one of them will be worth $10 trillion. So you can see that now they are kind of 2 trillion mark. So maybe 10 trillion is a bit too conservative. But they're going to rule the world. We're going to find our own space. Otherwise, we're out of the game. So this is just a few months old. And now I believe the market cap is like 800 billion. Fluctuating quite a lot day to day, but it's 700-800 billion. So this one company, and what is this industry? This industry is a brick and mortar. It's an industrial, physical products, logistics. It's not a digital content media kind of industry. It is a physical B2B industry, B2B2C industry. And this industry is going from 3.0 to 4.0 with electric and with self-driving autonomy. And even before the whole shift has happened, this winner takes all has manifested. So one company, about 15 years old, more valuable than the 7 auto majors, something like 300 to 400 years of corporate history. And that's how the winner takes all has gone into the auto industry. So if you think that this is auto, you think disruption only happens to content industry, it will happen to all B2B industry in this 4th industrial revolution. So this is a more typical content spend. Every dollar of digital spend, big chunk of it goes to just these 2 companies. And that's how they grew so big, so fast. So at the expense of print media, TV media, sports advertising, and billboards and all these, big part goes to the 2 of them. So this is something quite familiar by now. One biggest retailer, larger than all the other US retailer combined. And their electricity, their shares, that all gone bust, so they are no longer in the list. So why is this at work? This is because of scale economics. In the past, the old companies used the industrial economies of scale, industry of scope and size, which means that you have better products, you got more data, create higher value, your cost of goods is lower because of scale, reduced pricing, better marketing. So you have this virtuous cycle. That's why companies that become bigger can become bigger because they have an advantage over smaller companies. So this is what I call everyone shares something. And this works in the past, not in the future, because it has been superseded by this digital scale economics. You have things like network effects. The more players, the more customers you have, the more value you create. The switching costs of from the platform switch to another platform, you know, there's a lot of switching costs. Direct route to market from consumer, from business directly to consumer, bypassing all the distribution channels, just like Tesla. And many of these scale digital effects have come into play. And that allows companies that master this digital scale economics to supersede and beat the industrial players. So in the past, for those who study, for example, logistics, business in general, you know you can have only two of these three. Don't be greedy. Cheaper, better, faster. But in this space, you can have all three at the same time. Just look at Netflix, how much better, cheaper and faster than it is with Blockbuster. Similarly, with e-commerce, Amazon compared to a retail store, you get all three at the same time. That's why the right-hand side will beat the left-hand side players. And that is why you seriously have to think how your business can move from the left-hand side to the right-hand side to beat the players who are on the left-hand side. So now I've given you the background. I'm going to give you 4 steps to win in this digital economy. This is something that I've took some time to strategize and put together. But now there is a system, there's a grand strategy. You follow these 4 steps, you can win in this new world. So this is what I call the Unstoppable Company Playbook. And later on, I'll share with you the program that you can participate in to help you to implement this playbook in your company. So the number 1 step is this. Number 1 step is you have to decide to play to win. By default, all of you are playing not to lose. Until your whole team has decided, yes, I want to play to win, and I want to use this playbook that has made many companies successful. So what is the difference? The difference is play not to lose. You're just like playing recreation sports. You're just playing for fun, you know, enjoyment, but you never have the intention to be the best. But when you're playing to win, you're playing a competitive sports. You're trying to get there to be on the podium. So it takes a conscious decision to move from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. So why you have to play to win? And this is my article I wrote a few years ago. 95% of companies will not survive this decade. And with a pandemic, easily 10, 15, 20% of companies have been wiped out globally. So Accenture also agrees somewhat. And in this next years ahead, 71% of industries will be susceptible to digital disruption. These are the companies that went bust. Thomas Cook is a 170-year-old business. Never mind how long they have been. If they cannot overcome the next 5, 10 years, they'll be out of business. And with the pandemic, the inevitable has been accelerated. So playing not to lose is defensive compared to playing to win is offensive. And then playing not to lose is about the scarcity mindset. Scarcity mindset means this pawn is mine. I want to guard it. And when this pawn becomes shrinking and shrinking, good luck, because you're always focused on this pawn. And when the business evaporates because of digital disruptors, your business also evaporates. Whereas abundance mindset is, there are plenty of opportunities out there. Are you able to detect, spot, and take advantage and pivot your business to these new ponds, even oceans that is emerging? So you move from a red ocean to a blue ocean mindset. So basically, there is a whole new paradigm, and you have to take a conscious decision. I want to play to win, because playing not to lose in time to come, if not already, has very little upside. You only face the downside, even more and more and more. The number 2 steps, this is critical, and this is what many companies do not do. The arena they play in is organic. They just happen to be in that business because of something that opportunity that emerges, rather than they strategically pick their arena. So let me go back to this chart again, because this illustrates everything. So these MNCs, we have to know what is their weakness. Startups, we have to know what is their weakness. So that, and then we have to know what is our advantage, so that we play our game that maximizes our advantage against the weaknesses of these different kind of players, the snake and the owl. So large companies, as I say, they are billion-dollar companies, tens, hundreds of billions. And any business they go in have to be billions of dollars. Otherwise, it's not worth the effort for them. It doesn't move the needle for them. If you're a $10 billion company, you want to grow by 10% every year, you need to find a $1 billion growth opportunity, right? So size is their disadvantage. They have to go for big markets. How about startups? I'm also a VC, so I also invest in startups. So startups also need billion-dollar markets. If it's not $1 billion or beyond, in terms of potential market size, VCs will not be interested to invest in these startups. VCs are interested to uncover and invest in unicorns, because in the portfolio game of investment, only the unicorn pays you back the money for all the losses that you have made. A startup that is 50 million, 100 million, generating a lot of profits, these are good for ordinary investors. These are not good for VCs. So VCs are always looking for big markets, and that is their weakness. So remember the cage I told you? This is the cage. They cannot do something that we can do, which is focus on more cash flow, profitable investments, but may not reach $1 billion or tens of billions of dollars. And that is the kind of mode of protection. This is the cage. This is the second secret. So what happened is that, imagine this startup SMEs, you're somewhere here. And when you're somewhere here, what you want to achieve is this. You want to gain speed. Okay, you want to choose your arena first. You want to choose the right arena. I cannot explain how you choose your arena now, but in the program I'll cover that. But this is the very important part. Choose the arena that you can win. If you are doing many things in the past, you have to pick out one of them and put in all your effort to play to win in that. And then all the other arena becomes play not to lose. Whereas your bet is on the play to win part. So your arena using is now critical for your business. You may not have realized it yet. In the past, it's not important, but when we go into digital economy, it's so important because there's no point playing not to lose in everything, and there's nothing left. Your profit margin is shrinking everyone. So the transition that we have to make is this: being local and unfocused, very diversified, to being very focused in one or two, or maybe one or two is the best. Then scale it nationally, scale it regionally, scale it globally. In that one vertical you can play to win. So the number 3 step is something very powerful, and even today I can tell you many startups are the step 2 and the step 3. They go straight into step 4. So this is a very powerful strategy used by all the leading companies in the world, but there's no reason why SMEs cannot use it. It's very simple to use, and it totally reframes your thinking about your business. So this is called pivot to the future. So imagine today, this can be your customer journey, your business model, whatever you call that. And when our way of thinking is using this method, okay? New technology comes out. Okay, how do I incrementally improve? New technology comes out. How can I incrementally improve? Okay, this method is good in the past when the world is changing very, very slowly. You are thinking one step at a time. This method will doom your business because it's not enough. The world is becoming more complex. Our strategy has to become more sophisticated. And those that are using the old strategy, the new world comes, they will lose out. So this is the way we think today, very forward-looking. This method is inferior today when we are going from a 3.0 to a 4.0 model. So the method you have to use is called backcasting. Okay, let me share with you how this works. Do you know that Steve Jobs used this method? And there's no reason why you cannot use this method. So what is backcasting? Backcasting is, today I'm here. Okay, I think about sometime in the future. Maybe this future is 5 years from now when 5G is prevalent, or maybe it's 10 years from now, whatever date you want to set. And you visualize how the world will look like at that time. And what kind of players that will be very different from today. Right? Just imagine 5 years from now, self-driving cars, electric vehicles are in many places. How would that reshape your industry? And out of this, in this space, then you decide where do you want to plant your flag. In this new landscape, where will I be? Where do I want to be? So let me give you an analogy. What we see is this. What we see is when Steve Jobs launched iPod, now easily 15 years ago. We only see that he introduced one product. But his larger vision is this, digital lifestyle, which we are living in today. That, well, in 10, 15 years, everyone's lifestyle is going to be digital. Our music, our media, our communication, everything is on 1, 2, or 3 devices. And you need a centralized hub to manage all your content and your lifestyle. And when he launched, then he decided, in that space, where do I want to be? I want Apple to be the premium digital hub of people's life. And then he worked backwards to say, hey, what do I need to do to get there? Oh, okay, so the roadmap, which we know now, which we didn't know then, is, oh, iPod, then iPhone, iPad, after that, payments, after that, all the all the apps and the Apple shops and App Store and all these things are building towards that. And today, obviously, they are not here. They are talking about 10 years from now. Yeah, how will the world change? How Apple will become relevant? So that is the kind of strategies we all need today. In the past, we don't need that because our industries are changing very slowly. There is no paradigm shift from 3.0 to 4.0. So just imagine the world 100 years ago when we are going from steam engine to suddenly electrified everywhere. Everything will change. And how do we look backwards to say, how are we going to get there? What is the vision, our strategy, our positioning we want to be in 2025 or 2030? I can tell you that a lot of companies' vision are very, it lacks strategic thinking. It's just that I want to be best in this and that and that. So that is a very motherhood thing. A real strategy is going into the future, see what it's like, and say in that space, in that industry, where will I want to be? Which place do I want to be? Where do I want to be best in? And that should be your real vision. Not in isolation of the future world. Your vision has to integrate your future world inside. Okay, and then after that, it can be your product lineup, right? Okay, iPhone, iPad, whatever it is you add, and then cars and so on. So this is the way to go from today to the future. I can tell you, as a kind of the world-class companies are doing that, and you have to do it. That will give you immense advantage, rather than doing patchwork to your business with new technologies. Okay, so now I'm going to touch on the final part of the playbook. Propel to the future, to the first. What do I mean by that? So this is how it looks like. So remember, the change, the internal speed of change must be increased, because speed is an advantage. So what you have to do is to learn how to iterate your business quickly. And many of these are paper play. It's not even developing real products. Everything starts with your mindset, your thinking, and changing the business organically, but in a fast pace. And we are not talking about the speed of the tech startup. We are talking about being faster than other SMEs. And once you get that, you will go towards the red pill. And when you eat the red pill, all your competitors, you'll disrupt them. So this is the actual curve, right? Because as you iterate fast enough, you become bigger and bigger and bigger, and then they overtake the rest. And that is where size is not an issue. Remember, Klaus Schwab said that it's not the big fish. A big fish may be here, but because you're iterating very fast, you're playing to win, you'll take over them. Just like how Amazon is many times bigger than Walmart today. So this is the very important step. But startups normally just do this step without understanding backcasting and choosing your arena. So this is MNC has scale, tech startup has speed. This is what I call stealth. Why do I call stealth? Because it's do it quickly, silently, swiftly, silently, secretly. Nobody needs to know until you get profitable enough. Then by the time your competitor know what you're doing, you're too late. You're already ahead of the game and they are playing catch up. Okay, so your company, so choose your arena. Your company become play to win in the arena, and you become the biggest, what I call the mini Amazon in your industry. After you do that, you rinse and repeat. Amazon started with the grand picture of in future there's going to be an everything store. So today they are the everything store, right? We know So he had a vision of that. But he didn't start with an everything store. He started with books. Once I dominate books, I take the same strategy. I rinse and repeat in toys, consumer products, all the different verticals, baby products and so on, all the different verticals, grocery, and then take the B2C approach, apply to the B2B marketplace. So rinse and repeat, and your growth will be unlimited, because the same strategy, you are ahead in your current space, bring that to another space that you can play to win. Today, a company like Grab, Google, they are using the same playbook, dominate one space and move to the rest. Now into fintech finance. So I'm going to quickly share with you few companies, and this is a line group, entrepreneur organization, a member, and this is the founder. So also 4.0 mindset, and they are a professional services HR consultancy. So in the past, they are doing okay. They are going for the big deals, going for MNC clients. And it's obvious because every client gives you a big paycheck. But the company is in a play not to win, play not to lose situation, because they are playing against the big boys. How can you have the track record and all these things to fight against them? So what he did after this playbook, using this playbook, is this: he made a big switch to target the SMEs market, which is totally blue ocean. And he tailored that. It's not just targeting different segments. You have to create a new product, a new business model, revenue model based on that. And this revenue model, it becomes a subscription basis, just like a telco. Every month, the SMEs will pay a monthly subscription to use his like HR telco-like services. And because of that, he is one of the fastest growing company in 2020, 450% growth in 2 years. And even during the pandemic year of 2021, he's number 27 on the list. So in a bad year, he's still growing very, very quickly. He's playing to win. Okay, another company, this is not my graduate, but I love this company because they are exactly using that playbook. Even the name itself has this word, secret. You may not be familiar with this company. Today, this company is worth around $300 million. They are only an 8-year-old company, and they only do one thing. They do gaming chess. They play to win, to create the best gaming chess in the world. And the two founders are some young chaps, very little business experience, but they are very avid gamers, spending like 18, 20 hours max on playing a game, playing competitive games. And they know that this chair is so important to gamers. The rest is history. They created their own first chair, which is profitable, and they created the, later on I'll show you the designer, high quality, top of the line chairs. So they did not play in the furniture space because it's too big for them. They just focus on one single thing, gaming chairs. And compared to IKEA or whatever, they have many things, but they are playing not to lose. So they are playing to win in this. So this is the hottest selling chair in the world. Each one costing $500 to $1,000 US dollars, and they have a co-brand with many of these movie gaming titles, Game of Thrones and Legends of Legends and so on. It's an iPhone of chess. So they in fact, many people do not know their story until quite recently, because they have been growing stealthily and secretly. Just make the money, nobody needs to know. They produce this and they ship around the world because it's direct to consumer. So they sold 500,000 chairs a year, and that would be 500 million turnover. And a big part of these are profits for them. So they in Singapore, the Temasek Sovereign Wealth Fund invested in them. I believe it's like $10 million for 5% stake, something like along those lines. But they don't need the money because they are profitable. they are getting in the money to give a boost and credibility to the company. So in the pandemic situation, again, their upside is maximized because we all need very high quality chairs from a work from home kind of lifestyle that will persist even after the pandemic. So they can take this and say, which part of the other furniture do I want to play to win, and rinse and repeat. Okay, so I've actually shared with you a 4-step framework. This is my own digestion and my own strategization after going through the state-of-the-art material out there. Many of these are written for big companies, small companies, doesn't matter. We need to know which one to extract and use it. So what I've shared with you is you can take this and go and refer to all of these. These are all amazing literature frameworks, even the whole movement. But what I've done is to compress this and make it workable for SMEs in whatever industry, whatever size of companies, whatever markets. The play to win strategy will work very well.